Last week we talked about a program that is being experimented with or contemplated, actually, by a city in California. Several other cities had similarly thought about it, and in each case, banksters came into the cities and ran campaign ads or poured money into city council races and things like that to basically blow up the deal. But as we know from the Keogh decision before the Supreme Court, back when David Souter was so vilified, the Supreme Court has said that a community can seize private property even for a private for-profit interest if at the end of the day that works out best for the community or for the city. And so what this town was... Richmond, California, that's right. What Richmond, California was thinking of doing was saying, okay, somebody owes $400,000 on a home that's underwater. It's worth $300,000. We will go to the bank and say, we'll give you $300,000 for it, which is more than they'd get at a short sale, by the way. And banks actually make money. If a bank has a $400,000 mortgage and they short sell it for $250,000, they make more than $400,000 back between the money they get from the FDIC, the tax write-offs they can take, and the forward debts that they put back on the homeowner after they've shown a profit. Typically, banks make anywhere from 10 to 35% on a short sale, even though it looks like they're losing money. So the banks would not be able to make that profit under this deal. Instead, the town simply comes in and says, okay, here's what we're going to give you. This is what it's worth. And the bank has to take that. They write off the debt. And then the homeowner is offered the home for $300,000, which is what it's worth, minus 20% for the cost of doing the whole deal. And it's actually being done by a private company that's working with the city. And they get a 30-year mortgage and lowered interest payments. And this, lets money that otherwise would have been going to mortgage payments to banksters start going back into the community. So it seemed like a good idea to me. But Tanya Marchiol, thinks it's not a good idea. She is the founder and president of Team Investments. TeamInvestmentsInc.com is the website. Tanya, welcome back to the program.
Thanks so much for having me. Love being with you.
Thank you. Explain to me why this is, to use your description, the worst idea in the world.
That is just about exactly what I said. So first and foremost, you have to realize what eminent domain was made for. It was made to take property that was going to go for a park or a road or something to that degree. This is not true eminent domain, but they've made it sound good. So I'll give them the fact that they've made it sound good. Now, let's think about where that money comes from. First, it's going to come from the taxpayers. It's a horrible idea because California is already broke and doesn't have the money to do this. Then you have to think about...
No, there's no money coming from the taxpayers.
Really? So who do you think is going to pay for that home?
When the homeowner refinances the home,
okay,
they write a $300,000 check to the government to buy the home back from them.
Okay, because these people can't pay $1,500 a month, so now we're going to ask them to write a $300,000 check.
No, we're going to ask them to pay $1,000 a month instead of $1,500.
Right, and who do you think is financing that?
Some bank.
Okay.
There's no shortage of banks that would love to loan homeowners money at 4% right now.
Except for, now we've just squashed every horrible FHA loan. FHA loan, you only have to have a 580 and put 3.5% down. Now we're going to lend money to people who haven't paid their mortgage in probably 4+ years.
No, this is only for people who are making their payments on mortgages on houses that are so hopelessly underwater that it's going to be...
That is not true. This is eminent domain for any foreclosed property. How about this, Tom? Let me give you a better solution. Because this is a horrible idea. Because first and foremost, it is going to be on the backs of the taxpayers because they're going to have to buy it first and then turn around and sell it to the homeowner. Right. But let me give you a better solution. San Francisco, according to Kay Schiller, if you believe those numbers, appreciated 26% over the past year. This is a city close to San Francisco. That means that there is a demand for this type of property. How about we let the banks, and I am not a bank advocate, and you know that, but how about we let the banks short sell this property to someone who wants to buy it, albeit probably an investor, and then rent it back to these people so that they can afford this property, and now free enterprise is taken over instead of doing something completely cockamamie that isn't going to work in the first place.
Well,
how about we stop pretending
so you're suggesting
that these things work, and let's let free enterprise take over.
Okay. first, to go back to about 3 minutes into your comment, this is what eminent domain is all about, according to the United States Supreme Court. In the Keogh case, what they were looking at was there was privately owned land. It was basically a slum, but it was in an area that was overlooking the ocean, and it was, and they went in and they seized it, and then they handed it over to a for-profit developer who turned it into multi-million-dollar condos.
And they made it better. And they made it better for the community.
Yes, and this would make these homes better because these people would no longer be on the edge of default, and it would increase the amount of revenue that's going into the local community rather than to Wall Street banks.
Tom, we need to stop bailing everyone out. There is nothing wrong with somebody making a bad financial decision, albeit because they made a bad financial decision to buy that home when they did. How about
in most cases, though, these people, Tanya, were victims of scam artists in the banking industry.
When do we take responsibility for ourselves?
When do the banks take responsibility? How many banksters have gone to jail, Tanya?
Oh, no. I agree. I am not pro-bank. We know I am not pro-bank.
So this is something that doesn't hurt the banks so badly that they go out of business. It merely reduces their profits somewhat, and it allows homeowners to once again get their homes back, to be building the equity, toward their retirement.
This is the way to do it. And if you really want to talk about
your suggestion to just give the homes to billionaires, to sell the homes cheaply to very wealthy people and let them be landlords, that's being done.
Wealthy, and I go out and buy a bunch of those houses, and I am not very wealthy. But let's go back to your bank comment for a second. The banks, the Wells Fargos, the Chases, those are all just servicers. And I am anti-bank. I don't like the big banks either. But what servicers do, and this is what has to stop, is this. They prolong a short sale or a foreclosure for so long because they make fees. They're not really the money behind the house. They're just the servicer of that product, right? So they're making all these fees and not short selling these homes or foreclosing on these homes right away, because regardless of whether the person is making money or not,
she's on the phone.
Not via eminent domain.
Yeah. Okay, we missed your last sentence because your Skype crashed, but I've got you on the phone now, Tanya. So repeat your last sentence.
Sure. Let me turn this down. So the banks are making money servicing these loans.
Yeah, I got that.
They're not actually the money behind it. So we need to stop the practice of the banks not short selling or foreclosing for months and months and months.
So you want to use big government to force the banks to do the right thing?
I want the banks to do the right thing because we as the taxpayers bailed the banks out. The banks should be doing the right things, but I do not.
And you want big government to force them to do that. I'd rather have big government help out the taxpayers. I mean, if we're going to come up with two different big government solutions, I'm on the side of the homeowners, not the banksters.
I'm on the side of the homeowners too, but we bailed out the banks. The banks need to do what's right, and if we need to force
them to
do what's right, that's what I believe. I don't think that we should have to use eminent domain, which was not invented for this purpose, to bail out a homeowner that probably
in principle, I agree with you,
anyway.
Tanya.
Let's let them rent.
In principle, no, I don't agree with that. But in principle, I agree with you that the banksters caused this problem, that the banksters have not paid the cost of this, that they ripped us off, all of us. And they should be paying the fight. But the bottom line is that the banksters have so much power, so much political and economic power, that they're never going to do that.
I agree with you on that.
And that's the tragedy. Anyhow,
we always end up agreeing at the end.
Okay, Tanya Marchiol, founder and president of Team Investments, teaminvestmentsinc.com. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Great talking with you. We will be back.